True North Reviews, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the Abba record, Voyage. This is the 9th album by a Swedish pop group, their first with new material in nearly 40 years. Believe it or not, Voyage was originally meant to be 5 songs, but with COVID-19 and its associated delays, Abba decided to write enough music for a full-length project. On top of a return to music, Abba has also planned a holographic tour to support their reunion. Obviously, I can't see them going on tour without playing some of the new songs from Voyage, so what do we get? Well, co-lead singles were released to announce the record, and they are named I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down. The former is a bit of a slow burn, but picks up by its midpoint with a real burst of energy in the chorus. The latter, in Don't Shut Me Down, is an early contender for my favorite track on the record thanks to its quirky and quick synth notes, very reminiscent of the band's early work. Don't Shut Me Down is also accompanied by the Stockholm Concert Orchestra, and at the core there's a catchy tune, and that's the formula for ABBA. And it makes sense, having the band come back with such ease after 40 years. You know, they didn't just suddenly forget how to play their instruments. ABBA aren't falling off the bike, as you can tell with songs like Don't Shut Me Down, nor are they sounding any different on a song like When You Danced With Me, whose melodies center around what sounds like a pan flute. Where ABBA sound most adventurous on this album, in my opinion, is on the third track, Little Things. Keep in mind there is an abrupt thematic change as we shift focus to a Christmas song that interpolates the melody of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Now, Little Things is not the most inventive or unique Christmas song out there. Certainly the children's choir and toy bells make it a little more run-of-the-mill, but when you round out the instrumentation with clarinet and flute, there is at least an effort, to spice it up with the variety on the track. Settling back into a routine though, Voyage's 4th song, Just a Notion, features a fun and danceable instrumental. Surely it will remind some listeners of Waterloo, but with a little bit less energy or conviction behind the performance. However, after multiple listens, I find Just a Notion to be very infectious. Similar things can be said about Keep an Eye on Dan, which is a disco throwback with a very serious undertone in its lyrical content. And it's interesting to look at those things on paper and then imagine the song without them. Either way, both elements don't conflict here. After all, ABBA has always leaned into that heartbreak and breakup side of relationships, and divorce is only a logical extension of that. Musically though, Keep an Eye on Dan chugs along in the verses with some strings, then some synthesizers explode for a ton of fun in the chorus. And that's always been a staple for ABBA's music. Just fun, entertaining music. It's given the benefit of the doubt more often than not, but ABBA, they do well with what talent they possess. Even more classically known ABBA songs can be thought of when playing Bumblebee. Certainly the intro is Fernando down to a T, with a very light and delicate string accompaniment. So obviously there is something to be said about the number of homages to older ABBA songs that are on this record, but honestly, without them, without the Easter eggs, I would argue this album is kind of boring. For example, the track I Can Be That Woman has a tune and chord progression that are akin to just about any average 80s song. Granted, it's not the most striking or obvious comparison to be making, but the song as well just can't really be attacked too harshly either. Additionally, No Doubt About It is an upbeat and up-tempo track. Not too many of those exist on the record, but definitely fits in well with the overall sound and mood of the album, in my opinion. Nevertheless, it is lacking something. It leaves something to be desired. Course correcting this album to a strong finish, though, is the closer, Ode to Freedom, which is again a slower song on the album, but arguably better with much more direction and excitement going for it. With a cinematic arrangement of strings on this one, I can't help to feel like I'm watching a feature-length film's climactic conclusion whenever I play this song. Surely by no means is the track as long as a feature-length film though, and that does wonders for this album, especially being a comeback album for ABBA. The whole album itself never drags. It's around around 37 minutes long, and just commenting as a whole, Abba, they've always had a distinct sound, and nothing's different here. Because look, you're not going to confuse them for another artist. For better or worse, you be the judge of that, whether you think that's a good or bad thing. But at the end of the day, when I listen to Voyage in its entirety, despite having that fair number of highlights going for it, I do see it paling in comparison to ABBA's Gold Greatest Hits album. And that wasn't necessarily the expectation coming into this release. I didn't ever see ABBA outdoing themselves, but I do see value in Voyage. Simple enough, boiling it all down, if you asked me if this was worth a comeback to release this album, I would say yes. Now, is it their greatest work? No, obviously not, but I do enjoy what this record is. It's fine, and I would give it a strong 6 out of 10. So there you go. There's the album review for today. Make sure you guys sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of this music, whether you agree or disagree. I'm here to engage with you guys. If you'd like to leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. I'd appreciate that as always. Thanks for watching, and have a rockin' day.